No reason. We're good. Today, if you notice the title and the thumbnail and the description, we've got a special episode today. We are going to be interviewing my buddy JR, who got 31st place at the Galactic Championship. Okay? We're still talking about the Galactic Championship because it's important. It was a big event. It was a big deal, right? Getting 31st place is kind of amazing, by the way. So, let me give him a call. Okay, he's ready to go. All right, without further ado. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to set this up into full screen. Oh, wait, I should have done a video call. That's why.
All right, let's see if I can get my camera working too.
Oh, shoot. I forgot. Oh my God, how did I forget this? If I'm... if my camera's being taken by OBS, I can't...
Oh, yeah.
But let me just disable it then.
I mean, I can see you on the stream. It's fine.
No, it's all
There's not
good.
a
I'm
huge
gonna fix it.
Okay,
I'm fixing it.
I believe.
We do it live. We do it live.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
It's actually amazing how often I run into some sort of difficulty.
Man, my Discord was loud as fuck. Hold on. All right. Say something?
Yo.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, let's try hold on. There we go. Okay, we fixed it. We fixed it, ladies and gentlemen. Now I just have to switch this somehow. Bada bing. Bada boom. Bada bing. Bada boom. All right. And then, there we go. All right.
That's okay.
JR.
There we go. Yeah.
How's it going, man? How are you doing?
It's going well, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dude, I'm so glad you were able to like take the time to do this. This is...
Yeah. No, I mean, it's my pleasure, you know. No one has really talked about my list at all, so
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
It's kind of funny.
That's what I'm saying. We got to talk about it here.
I
Get
mean,
the scoop.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, you know. It's I think really it's just a matter of a lot of people were on Kylo5 and it's the same name. So I think a lot of people just skimmed through, you know, looking for Kylo, and they see Kylo5 and they just, you know what I mean, they forget about.
We're like, oh, this
Kylo2.
is just Kylo Tarkintown. There were so many people running this stuff.
Exactly. Everyone knows. Yeah, they see Kylo Ren name and they see Tarkintown and they're like, okay, it's that deck, you know, and they're So I think that was probably a big factor of it, maybe. A lot of the people that I saw that made videos on these lists like didn't even know. There was actually one guy that had commented I saw on a YouTube video by, I think it was KTOD actually, who he made a video about a bunch of different, you know, like cool world, you know, Galactics lists or whatever, and my list wasn't on there, and someone had commented that they should check out my list, and he was like, oh, I'll check it out. So clearly he hadn't seen it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's one interesting list,
one.
right? It's like you're the one Kylo 2 Tarkintown, so everybody just kind of skims past it.
Mm-hmm.
But
you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so
yeah, I mean, you had an amazing performance, first of all, and I had my talk about Galactics. And one of my highlights of my Galactics trip was cheering you on for the weekend. And
I appreciate that.
so I thought it would be cool to kind of follow up with that and be like, hey,
Yeah, for
this guy
sure.
did amazing. And yeah, you had the coolest list ever, right?
I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So clearly you had something going. And clearly you've had something going with this. You've been cooking this list, right? It's been a while. I feel like as soon as set 2 dropped, right? Like as soon as you saw this leader, right? When did you first decide when did you first decide like, okay, this is my leader, and what like drew you to him in the first place?
Well, when it was announced. Honestly, I've been pretty much into it ever since it was announced. I think so my list, maybe you saw it in the picture of my list from SWU, but the title of my list is Kylo the Fervent, and there's actually a reason for that. Um, there's a card. I am a longtime Magic player, and there's a card in Magic called Hazaret the Fervent,
Oh,
and it
dude.
is a
Yep, I love Hazaret.
and yep, and if you actually think about it, Kylo's design is almost identical to Hazaret. She costs 4. She's a 5/4 with haste and indestructible, and she says you can pitch a card to deal 2 damage to an opponent. And she can't attack when you have cards in your hand or block. So, you know what I mean?
And she's a
I love
5/4,
that
isn't
card.
she?
She's a 5/4, yeah.
Dude, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't even think
So,
about
so
that.
yeah, so ever since I saw that, I'm like, oh, it's Hazaret, and I just immediately, I've always loved in Magic, playing red deck wins, and in Legacy, I play Legacy Burn, and I love mono red, just aggro. It's my favorite archetype, and it just, I don't know, it pretty smoothly. I wouldn't say smoothly, but it somewhat smoothly carried over into this game. In this game, I don't know. It seems like there is definitely a dislike of aggro by the people making the game. They don't want like super hyper aggro to exist, which obviously I have mixed feelings about because it's my favorite thing.
Right.
But yeah, it's ever since I saw it announced, I was into it, and it came out. I started playing it. I got a showcase because a friend pulled it, and I traded him for it, and that was it. And ever since set 2, I've just been playing it. I think it took a little bit to get going because I felt like at first, I don't know, there weren't like in set 2 at least, there was still some really broken stuff in the game, and like
Boba.
Boba was still a thing,
Yeah.
and it was also, there were still there was a limited card pool, for the deck, but
I feel like it was one of those
uh,
things where it's like this leader looks like he's gonna be amazing,
oh
but
yeah,
there's not enough
yeah.
tools for him yet, right?
The thing is like his ability. At the end of the day, like the way I always look at leaders is just like if their ability is generic and it just works with any card in the game, it's probably good.
Oh, 100%.
And his stats, his ability is great. I mean, a +2 attack buff is huge. And yeah, like pitching a card is a downside, but the fact that it's generic and the fact that he comes out as a 5/4 on 4, I mean, there's got to be, the way I've always thought of it is like if the leader is, you know, a solid leader, like solid stats and all that kind of stuff, there has to be some combination of cards in the game that make it work. And that was pretty much my mindset going into Galactics, is like I've played Kylo2 Tarkintown since it came out, and I love the deck. It's my favorite deck. I've played almost exclusively that. I dabbled with Von Reg a little bit, and I still do here and there because it's fun. Obviously I've tried random things. I'm not only playing that, but
Hmm.
in terms of like competitive play, I've pretty much exclusively played Double Red Kylo, and yeah, it just, I knew that there had to be some combination of cards to make it work, and so I just said it's what I have the most practice with. I'm just gonna go into it and try to do my best with what I like, and that's what I did. So
You led right into my next question. I was gonna say, like, I knew pretty much that this was like your freaking deck, but like, you know, it definitely wasn't a meta call. You just said, this is my best deck. I'm running it.
Yeah. It was just I'm just playing what I like and I have the most reps into. I think a lot of people, this is a new card game, and I think there's a lot of people who are learning the flow of a card game and how it works. And I think at the end of the day, it's really, really important to stick to your strengths, stick to the archetype that you're good at playing, and pick a deck and just keep going at it, and don't get turned off by a bad performance. I think a lot of people, they'll go have a bad performance, and they're done. I mean, I'll tell you this, like the set 2 PQ at Common Ground Games in Dallas. Common Ground Games, is always a massive PQ. It's always like 120 players. And the set 2 PQ, I actually went 4-3 with Kylo2 Tarkintown. And I lost to 2 boss greens and a cad Tarkintown. So like those are not good matchups for a deck.
Yeah.
Especially back then with the limited card pool. And I didn't give it up, you know what I mean? And then I went to top the PQ at Common Ground in set 3. I think it's important to you gotta just know what you like and just keep doing it. You can't give up so easily, man.
Yeah, I love that, and I completely agree with that sentiment. Like, you play the deck you're best with and just keep getting those reps. And I regret, like, I feel like I faltered a lot, like after, Boba got banned, Django got banned. I was trying to stick with a deck, but I kept picking broken ass leaders that kept getting banned. And I feel like leading up to Galactics, I couldn't stick with anything. I just kept switching. Oh, this is bad into this. This is bad into this. I had to switch. Yeah. But you just said, fuck it. This is what I'm best with. I know the matchups better than they know my deck, right? And I love that. Yeah. I think that's amazing.
There was one time where I faltered, to be fair. I'm not perfect. I'm a human, There's one time where I faltered. I went up to Nebraska to play a PQ up there with Ethan and Nick.
Yeah.
And I took, because there was like at that specific moment, there was like a massive resurgence of Cat Tarkintown. It was like super popular. And I was like super worried that I was going to go to this PQ and run into like 3 Cat Tarkintowns and just die, right? So I took Kylo Blue instead, like Kylo2 Pal City.
Okay, yes, I remember that era.
Yeah, like this weird thing. And I got 9th place in that PQ, which is not bad, but I also regretted not just taking Kylo2 Tarkintown, because I felt like not only could I have topped, but like I barely saw Cat at all. I don't think I saw it all day, maybe once, So it's like, then I look back and I'm like, why did I do that? I should have played my shit, like, what am I doing?
That's the thing about card games is, hindsight is like, oh, well, of course I should have brought this deck, because, it's so frustrating though. It's so frustrating.
But that's the thing is, like, the way I always tell it to people is, if you have a deck you really truly love and it's your favorite deck, when you're going to like a big tournament, you have to ask yourself, am I going to regret not taking this deck and instead this deck if I do poorly with the other deck I'm thinking of taking?
100%.
And then if I take my deck, am I going to regret not doing well because I didn't take another deck? Probably not.
It's less likely for sure. Yeah.
It's less likely that you're going to regret that, in my opinion. I mean, at least that's how I work, right? I know if I had taken some whatever deck, to Worlds and did bad, I would have hated myself. So,
yeah, I'm glad you took Kylo2 Tarkintown, and I'm excited to talk about the list itself. Like, I want to talk about maybe some of your key cards, and what makes this deck tick, right? I want to see. Yeah. I want to know
absolutely,
like, what makes you win games. What are your winning lines? What are you looking for?
Yeah. So
I have it pulled up on stream, so you could just talk about cards freely.
Okay, yeah, let me pull this up. Okay, so honestly, it's hard to start at one specific card, so I feel like I should almost just quickly go through the whole list.
Sure.
Um, but I like a couple of general ideas that I had building the deck is, you can see that there's a big lack of two drops, a big lack of one drops. I'm sorry. I am only running 9 one drops in this list, and you might think, well, that's not really a big lack, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, the list, I think, if I remember correctly, the number of one drops in my top list from the set 3 PQ was like 21 drops.
Sheesh.
So, yeah, it was a lot. And the problem with one drops, at least in the meta we were going into, was just there were so many good ways to deal with them, and they were just getting too outvalued.
All
They
the
would just
pings.
die for free. Yeah, like you have these 2/4s now that are killing your 3/1s and living.
Ooh,
Whereas
yeah.
before, if it's like a battlefield marine, you trade a Death Star Stormtrooper to that, it's a trade, and you only paid 1 for your Death Star Stormtrooper. But now you've got these 2/4s killing your X1s and living, and that's such a bad feeling.
That was a big
And your
deal.
X2s.
A big meta
Um,
shift were those 2/4s.
Yep. And it's just so that was a big thing for me. And on top of that, obviously you have Talzin coming into the meta. I knew Talzin was going to be a problem with the deck. I tested against it a good bunch, and just the one drops did not feel good. They
Yeah.
die way too easily. You just get outvalued. You run out of cards, and then you start top decking trash because you're just top decking crap one drops. It's not great. So
Makes
I
sense.
decided to shift the deck to a 2-drop focus and play a lot of 2 drops. And I would curve out as like 2 drop, 2+1, 2 drop, 2 drop. So basically, I'm playing like 4 2 drops and like a 1 in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would play a 3 drop on turn 2 when I had the time. Sometimes I would play a 4 drop on turn 3 instead of 2 drops. It just depends on the thing is the way that this deck plays is extremely dependent on not just the matchup, but also literally just what's happening in the game.
Yeah.
You have to make a lot of decisions on the fly. But this deck or this version is a lot more space oriented. So, I have Strike Ship, Silencer, V-Wing, which I'll get to in just a second. Tri-Fighter, which is really the the crazy looking one. People probably look at me like I'm insane for running that card
That's
as a 3 of in the main
one of the
board,
ones I
but
wanted to talk about for
yeah,
sure.
I'll definitely get there. I don't think it's perfect. It was a meta call, but it did do work. Shuttle was also amazing, but and Raider and everything. So I had a lot of space presence in this deck. A lot of decks at Worlds had a hard time dealing with
Oh
space,
yeah.
and to supplement that, all of my upgrades in the deck can go on space units. I think that's another thing that I really shifted towards is making
So
sure that
big.
I never had a dead upgrade in my hand because I would be left with these space units that they can't deal with, and I draw into an upgrade. If it's a lightsaber, feels terrible. So I just was like, no, all my upgrades are going on space units. And it made a huge difference because I can't tell you how many games I won off of a space unit with an upgrade or something like that. It was a lot.
Battle
So
Fury.
to go through, yeah, Battle Fury is an insane card. So quickly to go through the list, Crackshot V-Wing. This was just purely to increase my space presence. It's the best 1 drop in space. It's a 2/2. The lines of going like turn 1 Strike Ship, turn 2 Silencer plus V-Wing, really great. When you finish turn 2 and you have a 0/3 raid 3, a 3/2, and a 2/2 in space, and they don't have any way to deal with space, it's a problem. I mean, it's so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
damage because they've already taken 5 from the Strike Ship, 2 swinging, so it's a lot. And then it just curves out nicely. You just put it over there, and I don't know, like it gets you get away with it a lot more because it's in space, and the fact that it can be 2 HP is really nice because it doesn't die to pings, and that was super important. I didn't want to play any 1 drops that just die easily. That was my thing, and like Crackshot V-Wing, at least it trades with a 3/2, and so does TIE Fighter, but it doesn't get pinged, right? Guavine Antagonizer. Yep, there's crack shot viewing. So Guavine Antagonizer, I played as a 3 of just because it's the best one drop in the deck. It does so many things for the deck. You know, it has Saboteur. Saboteur is really important because it allows you to kill crafty smugglers and live, which is massive. So you can actually, you know, not only can you kill like a village protectors with it, you know, you can actually just you play it and they play a crafty smuggler, or you could just claim initiative.
I
and then just
forgot
kill
this
it
thing
next
had
turn for free.
Saboteur.
It's
Wow.
insane.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah.
And
so
that Jedi, that
yeah.
Force unit too.
Yep.
Forget the
So,
name of that one.
Secretive Sage.
Secretive Sage. Yeah,
exactly.
that's huge.
Yep. So there's so many crafty smugglers right now. Secretive Sage, crafty smuggler, L3, Director Krennic. There's a lot of them right now. And so being able to just kill those for free, for village protectors, right? Being able to kill those for free, amazing. And it's a one drop. The draw usually doesn't matter because I'm trying to end the game before the card advantage matters.
For sure.
But the fact that it could either go straight to base because it has Saboteur, you know, going around a Sentinel, or that it can go through a shielded unit if I needed to. It's just so flexible, and it also doesn't, this is the big thing, it doesn't die to a 2/4. That was the most important thing, is that it doesn't die for free to a 2/4. 3 HP, 1 drops make a massive difference. And with that in mind, you're probably asking, why am I not running Witch of the Mist? Because I had a couple people ask me about Witch of the Mist. Witch of the Mist is not a bad card. It's just I didn't really like Force Throw in this deck specifically. And I can get to that in a minute when I get to Daring Raid, because Daring Raid takes its place. But I didn't really care for Witch of the Mist because it only has 1 power. It can't kill a 2/4 when you buff it. So it only goes up to 3 power after a buff. I just didn't like how poorly that trades into a lot of cards.
It's not a good body.
It just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
It just, the body is just not good. So I don't like that. But other than, I mean, yeah, the Guavian was amazing. Reckless is actually almost never played on turn, or just from my hand in general.
You just use it to smuggle.
It is so yeah. Basically, Reckless, I dump my hand on turn 3, and then on turn 4, my plan, because I need to resource, because I want to be able to resource for Raider. I was like, how do I deal with resourcing for Raider, not just having crap cards in my hand, or like I only have like a 2-drop to play, nothing else. I'm like, okay, Reckless is exclusively going to be my turn 4 play, where I pay 3 to smuggle that out, and then play a 2-drop that I drew. That was my other card.
Okay.
And then that gets me to 5 resources. Then once I hit 5 resources, I don't resource up anymore until I hit Raider. Or unless I just have it for free and you know, it's easy to resource or something like that.
For sure.
So Daring Raid. The reason I don't like Force Throw in this deck is because other than Witch of the Mist and Kylo Ren unit, which I don't like either of those units. I do not think they're great units. Other than those 2 units, Force Throw cannot be on until turn 3, because we didn't get a 2-drop red villain Force unit. So I didn't want to go out of my way to play Force Throw, because I don't think it's worth it for this deck.
Yeah, when you're playing an all-in deck, you can't build around a card like Force Throw. It doesn't make sense.
You really can't. And the thing is that most of the time when I was playing this 1-drop event to kill something, well, first of all, I wanted it to be removal first and discard second. I never really cared that much about the discard. I want it to be removal. And what Daring Raid allows me to do is I can go turn 1, 2-drop, turn 2, 2-drop Daring Raid Tarkintown. That line of play was super, super important.
Kills anything on turn 2.
It kills anything on turn 2. You know, X5s just get wiped. So it really helps with tempo. Infused Brawler, yeah, man. I want to play Infused Brawler. I think that card is sick, actually. I just I don't like playing it without a way to guarantee the force on turn 1. So like the green rare base and Avar, however you pronounce her name. I like Infused Brawler in that deck. But anyways, So Daring Raid was super important on turn 2. That's what I found. And also, obviously, you have like you're playing against Kylo 5 Tarkintown. You could be like Daring Raid their MiGs and play a Guavian or something like that. That
Yeah.
you can't do that with Force Throw. It doesn't work. That you need that one drop event to be on like in the first 2 turns of the game, and you can't really go out of your way for it with Daring Raid.
Yeah, makes
Or sorry,
sense.
with Force Throw.
Makes sense.
Yep. So Bo-Katan, I'll try to speed up a little bit. Bo-Katan, super solid unit. It's just a Battlefield Marine with extra text. Draws me cards in the late game for free. I don't know why you wouldn't run it. It's just Battlefield Marine is just good. It doesn't die to a 2/4, and it can draw a card. It is a little bit weak into Talzin. But if you do buff it, even if they minus it, then they can't kill it with the 2/4 unless they trade, which is nice. So that's cool. But yeah, it's just a solid unit all around. And then other 2 drops, HK. I saw some people now running HK. HK is so good. It's just a 2/4. Honestly, like 2/4 is a great stat line, and you have to remember that because we get a +2 attack buff, like we get to trade up a lot of the time, or just attack for way more than you'd normally be able to. So like attacking for 4 is fine. I'm absolutely happy attacking for 4, and then if I get 1 extra damage from him, I'm happy.
Oh yeah.
2 is awesome. Like if I get a free Daring Raid for killing their dude to their base, that's awesome. Like that's so good. So HK was super solid. He's just hard to kill. Yeah, he dies to ping Tarkintown, and so does Partisan Insurgent.
So
and
does
stuff like
everything.
That,
yeah.
So many things do. It's so hard to play around that specific combo. But yeah, HK is just a really solid unit, and I can't imagine not having it in the deck. It's just so good.
Yeah.
Partisan Insurgent is kind of a weird looking one maybe at this point in the game, but it's just another 2-drop on the ground with 4 HP. And it attacks for 3. It's basically Double Red's version of Aura Sing. It's like the original Aura Sing. And Aura Sing's good, Like people say, why don't you play yellow? I mean, Aura Sing is a good card in yellow. It's just an upgrade to Partisan Insurgent, right? Whereas like yellow doesn't get like a bow unit at all. It's really an upgrade from Partisan to Aura, because you can't really play Partisan unless it's a double red deck, because it just won't be on enough. You need it to be on all the time. But one really nice thing about Partisan Insurgent is because it has 1 native attack, you can buff it with Kylo's ability and then play aggression to ready it. So you can buff it, hit them for 5. Yeah, you can buff it, hit them for 5, aggression, kill something, ready it, hit them for 5, and then bring out Kylo and hit them for 5 again.
Jeez,
So
okay.
it can be a huge burst of damage, really nice tempo.
I'm sold.
So I really like the combat with the combat tricks that you can do with that. It's the same thing with Strike Ship. Strike Ship's the same way. You can buff Strike Ship with Kylo's ability, and it still readies with aggression and is swinging for 5. So there's some nice synergy there.
Also, Partisan Insurgent was a 4 health turn 1 play before it was cool.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the OG 4 health turn 1 play.
Yep. survives the stupid the stupid 3 power units. Yep.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time.
Yep, he really was. So then going into it more, you have the space units, right? Strike Ship, I just kind of explained, really solid card. And the I guess it's on the picture, it's Force Choke next, so I'll talk about Force Choke. I feel like this one really doesn't need a whole lot of explaining. Force Choke is just really good.
That's a lot of damage.
About them drawing cards. It's a lot of damage for 2 or 1. Being able to just pay 2 and get rid of something. It's just so important. It kills Chirrut. It kills whatever annoying 5 HP unit they have.
Dude, killing Chirrut is huge.
Killing Chirrut is massive. Killing Sabine in the mirror is great. Like it's just an all around good card. It gets stuff out of the way. Like in an aggro deck. In a true aggro deck, you need your removal to be like the most efficient possible, even if it has a downside, in order to just like stay ahead on tempo in terms of how much resources you're spending on your cards, but then also be able to kill whatever is blocking your way in the early game to get your free damage in. So Force just solid. I can't, obviously, I think most people know Force is really good. Armed to the teeth. This list, or sorry, this card shows up in a lot of Kylo lists. At first, I actually wasn't too hot on it, but I went to it because it goes on space units. And I probably wouldn't be playing it if I was like a way more ground-oriented list. But I played it because smuggle is just nice, and being able to put it on a space unit can just be nice surprise damage when they're not expecting. You don't have a card in your hand, and then you just suddenly flip arm to the teeth and put it on a shielded shuttle or something. It's just annoying to deal with. So that actually put in a good amount of work, and I was really happy with that card that I put it in. Also, if I wasn't happy with a card, I'll talk about it. But everything in the main board, to be honest, felt pretty good. I didn't really feel like anything in the main board was out of place number-wise. Like, it was just consistent. I saw the cards I needed to every game. Or not every game, but like consistently, because they're all 3 drops. I'm playing 3 of every good card that I can, pretty much.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it sounds like every single card has its place. Every single card you put so much thought into, you know exactly when it's good, when you need it, when you don't need it. Like, yeah, it sounds like your main board is tight.
It is really tight. Battle Fury is insane. It's a replacement for Saber. I can't talk enough about this card. It just, the fact that you can play Battle Fury with another 2-drop on turn 3 is insane.
Yeah, I'm into this.
It's just crazy value, especially in Kylo where you don't care about your hand. It's just so good. And
it's a 3/3 with upside in Kylo.
Like, it's a 3/3 with upside. Like, it goes on a space unit. Like, I can't. I literally I would have lost. I would have scrubbed out if I couldn't have put Battle Fury on a space unit. Honestly, it's so important to the deck. Tri-Fighter. So we're at Tri-Fighter now. Tri-Fighter was purely a meta pick because at the time Han was getting super popular. There was a lot of Han at the tournament.
Yep.
And
a lot of restore in Han.
That's the problem. There's so much restore.
Yeah.
And there's not enough anti-healing in the game. It's just insane how they can go like turn 1, Yaddle, Han ability, Owen Lars. And it's like awesome. They have like 1 million restore on turn 1.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Like, why do I have to Tarkintown and Owen Lars? Like, I don't want to do that, So it's so frustrating, and I just couldn't deal with it. So I decided that this was the tournament that I would put that in the deck, in the main board, because I've always kind of liked the card a little bit, and I actually played it a bit in Von Reg, and that was pretty funny flipping Von Reg onto it, because then it's a 6/6 leader unit, that stops healing, which is actually pretty disgusting. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the card isn't bad. It's just the stats are a little awkward because you have to be real. There's a couple matchups you have to be really careful into, like Talzin, because Talzin can just kill it with Talzin's Assassin. And that sucks. But thankfully, Talzin doesn't really heal that much. So it's like, I'll just resource it and play something else. So overall, the card did see play, and like there were a decent amount of times it just survived in space because it's just a 3/3.
Yeah.
And like, they don't have a lot of space units. And then other times it genuinely, like, there was a couple games against a Han Green that I played where like he was like, we got to the point where he was playing home one and stuff because like he was ramping, and it's how Han Green works.
Oh yeah.
But I just had this shielded Tri-Fighter on the field, and he couldn't heal with anything. His home one, anything. He couldn't heal at all.
No.
Because I had a stupid shielded Tri-Fighter on the field, and he can't deal with it. Like, he has to like waste his home one attack into a shielded Tri-Fighter just to get rid of the shield to then remove it to heal with other. It's just,
that's incredible.
Like, yeah, it was really funny, but it genuinely did put in a good amount of work.
Now, the interesting
thing. Let me say this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
The only thing that was rough about Tri-Fighter, and the reason why it was more successful at this tournament in terms of being good against healing, is it's extremely weak into vigilance.
Yeah, okay.
And there was not a lot of vigilance at this tournament. People weren't really playing vigilance because they didn't need it anymore. And so when your opponent just goes vigilance, defeat that because it has 3 HP, then heal 5, feels terrible. But anyways, go ahead.
I'm not even kidding. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, people
Yeah.
wrote this off right in the beginning because the premier healing back when this card came out was Vigilance. That was the only real healing you saw in the game, and
Yep.
Vigilance just kills it, heals. But now it's
It
like
does.
people aren't relying on that anymore. They have all these other
No.
healing options that you want to
Yeah.
prevent.
So much restore now. You just don't
Yeah.
have to play it. You don't need it anymore.
That's so funny
Yeah.
that I was gonna say that. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, hold on,
And
let me say it
the card
first.
gets, yeah, no, me. Yeah,
Yeah.
the card gets dunked on by Vigilance. It's
Yeah.
really bad, and honestly, it's one of my least favorite things about the card. I wish it was a 2/4. I feel like that was a massive oversight about this card when they designed it. I think it should not have died to Vigilance.
Yeah.
But
It'd be
it is what it
so
is.
great if it didn't die to
Yeah.
Vigilance.
Two
But
four
it
would have
worked
been
out.
really nice. It did. It did. It did work out. I'm almost at the end. Interceptor. So yeah, I mean, Interceptor is just a solid space unit. That's all it is. Like it's just a 3/4 in space that has text on it.
And then give it
Sometimes
Battle
the
Fury.
overwhelm. Yeah, give it Battle Fury. It's attacking for 7 with overwhelm.
Hell
You know,
yeah.
you can just run over other space units. Just it. You know, it's just solid. It's annoying to kill because it's a 3/4 in space and just does work. Shuttle. Man, Shuttle is the only card that isn't red in this deck.
It's expensive
so it
too.
doesn't turn on Partisan Insurgent. It's also a 4
It's a
drop.
whole 4
Yep.
resources.
It's a 4 cost for a 3/4, which you wouldn't think I would play in this deck, but man, it was MVP of Galactics for me. I can't
Nice.
tell
Wow.
you how many times. I mean, genuinely, it was MVP. I had multiple opponents tell me, "Man, that shuttle is so annoying." Like, just the ability. You think about how many, once again, crappy smugglers there are right now, right? How many, people are playing. I don't remember its real name. Internet Warrior, Eternant Warrior.
Oh yeah,
Whatever it's called.
Itinerant
Yeah.
Warrior, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
More
So,
syllables
Internet
than it
Warrior.
should have.
Yeah, so Internet Warrior, you can play Shuttle and just take its shield. So if Han is like, cool, I'm gonna play this on 3. Next turn you go, that's cool. Shuttle, steal the shield, put it on my dude, and then Tarkintown that. And
Brilliant.
it's just such a blowout every single time. Like the ability to steal shields mattered so much in this tournament because there are so many units that are playing shields to fight against stuff like Tarkintown, to fight against all the damage removal like Force Throw, all that kind of stuff. So stealing those shields was super valuable. And then also just being able to play Protect the Queen and put put a shield on like Kylo, put a shield on like a big, like an interceptor and it has Battle Fury, or even just keep the shield. There were so many times I just played it as a 3/4 shielded in space, and then it's just because of Kylo's ability, it's hitting them for 5 every turn. I put a Battle Fury on it, it's hitting them for 6 to 8 every turn. It's like shielded space units are a problem.
I definitely lost games because of Shuttle being shielded with some sort of pilot on it or something.
Dude,
yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's super obnoxious. So yeah, and I think, I mean, one of my matches that I almost lost in day 3 actually was because of a misplay with Shuttle. And it was actually a really interesting misplay, so I'll talk about it, just to add some little flavor. It was against a Quinlan player, and they were a good player. And what had happened, I don't exactly remember how everything went down. It's kind of a blur up to the turn that it happened. But it was a really weird sequence of events, basically, where I had a silencer with a damage on it, and he hasn't used Tarkintown yet. Okay. I have a silencer with a damage on it. He hasn't used Tarkintown. And I think that's the only unit I have at the moment. So on the 4 I have initiative going into that turn. And I play the shuttle and shield the silencer. Okay. So the silencer has a shield, so he can't Tarkintown anymore, right?
Yeah.
And I have the shuttle, which is just a 3/4. And then I have the Kylo flip, and I have 1 card in hand. No, maybe it was two. It was two cards in hand. I think. I don't remember exactly, but it was one. It was one card in hand, and I made a big mistake. So my opponent plays a Quinlan unit, 4 cost, and he pings the shuttle. So he wants to Tarkintown the shuttle, right? And I had the plan in my head, but you know how sometimes you space out, you forget about it, and you just do something else, you know? So I activated Kylo's ability, pitched my card to buff the silencer to get my attack in. Do you know what my mistake was?
You already made it? You already made the mistake?
Yep, by doing that. My mistake was I needed to deploy Kylo. And the reason is because when he Tarkintowns the shuttle, I can then move the shield from the silencer to Kylo so that Quinlan doesn't kill Kylo next turn for free.
Okay, that's some like big brain Kylo2 shit right there. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and like I had the plan in my head and I forgot, and I'm like, oh, and I lost that game.
Because then as soon as it dies, you can't move the shield anymore because you have no other units. No. I see. Exactly. Yeah. Kylo with the shield. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyways, so that was a mistake, but besides that, yeah, shuttle was super important, amazing. Aggression. I want to talk about aggression for a second.
Aggression.
Man, there's a lot of people who are like, aggression is a bad card. It shouldn't be in the deck. It's not. It's a mid-range card. It's a control card. Whatever they say, you know.
Okay,
I can't tell you how much I disagree with that statement. Aggression, in my opinion, is like, people say it's the worst of the double single aspect cards, you know, like the innate cycle. 4, you can't really play it for 6. It's too much.
But
4/4, it is arguably the most flexible out of any of them. It does so many things. It draws cards. It kills units just straight up. It readies units to deal more damage, and it defeats upgrades.
Defeats 2 freaking upgrades.
Defeats 2 upgrades. Yeah, it defeats 2 upgrades. So the fact that I mean, against the aggro matchup, it's a tempo play. It's like cunning. It's like my cunning. They do some stupid thing, and I go, that's cool. Anyways, kill your unit, ready mine, attack you again.
Yeah, like you were saying,
all
of these guys get readied with upgrades on them.
It's honestly so solid against a lot. I mean, against control, it's great. Why? Because what is control playing to deal with units that's cheap? Entrenched, perilous
upgrades,
position,
yes.
Top target. Like, it's all upgrades. So
you need upgrade removal.
Their cheap removal is all upgrades. Yep. You have to have upgrade removal. And then, like, you have the decks that are trying to go tall. You have pilot leaders. It answers every single one of them except for Luke. And I actually lost to a Luke data vault.
No.
That's one of my losses. Yeah. Day one. I had to play, by the way. I had to play day one. I don't know if, just in case someone watching doesn't know. I played all 19 rounds.
Yeah, this freaking legend got through day 1, day 2, and made it to day 3.
So I went 6-2 day 1, 6-2 day 2, and then 2-1 day 3. So my record of day 2 and day 3 was 8-3. But yeah, no, aggression is such a powerful card, and it makes the difference so many times. I can't tell you how many times I've said, I just wish I had aggression right now. It's so important. And the last part is Raider. So you can see that I have Raider in the main board and Chaos of War in the sideboard. I just found that going into this meta there wasn't really a lot of hard control at all. There was like a few, but for the most part, it was just like mid-range and aggressive decks. And Raider's just better into those matchups. It's just not as... Chaos of War, it's not bad per se into mid-range or aggro or whatever, but like it's not great. Even against like a Han player, who wants to draw cards with Mundi, they're just not drawing that much because they don't have the time. Like they're way more focused on stabilizing than they are drawing cards. Because they're not playing against a control deck. They're playing, I'm trying to kill them really quickly. So they're way more concerned with playing a Chirrut than they are playing a Mundi.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they're perfectly happy with pitching their own cards with Force Throw to just kill something quickly because they have to clear stuff off the board.
Yeah, they're not stacking their hands, that's for sure. They got to spend everything they have to throw at you to stop you. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Chaos of War just wasn't feeling that great except for hard control. And to be honest with you, I actually sided it in one time. Oh no, not two times. The whole tournament, maybe more than that. But it only mattered in really one matchup because I only played against. I didn't play a lot of hard control. There just wasn't a lot of hard control.
Yeah, there really wasn't.
I played against a Palp Colossus, which is hilarious because I actually lost to that. Which normally it's a really good matchup for me, but it goes that way sometimes. It's fine. But Chaos of War only mattered in that matchup, and because it was open deck lists, my opponent knew I was bringing it in, and so he's like, "Well, I'm not going to draw cards."
Oh yeah.
So it's like it didn't matter. And honestly, I think going forward, that's one of the main things I would change. Is I'm just not feeling it with Chaos of War anymore. At least at the moment. The draw doesn't matter as much as like Raider does with just the board presence and the damage that it does and all that kind of stuff. So like Raider just tends to curve out more because the reality is I never want to play Chaos of War until turn 4 or 5 anyways. So why not have that just be a Raider?
Right. Ruthless Raider's always good.
It could just be a Raider instead of Chaos of War. I'm playing it at the same time. I don't want to draw either of them early. I don't want to draw Chaos in the first 2 turns. I'm not playing that shit,
Right.
Like, I'm not playing it early.
So,
it doesn't make board presence.
That's actually interesting. Chris here was asking if Raiders get resourced immediately turn 1.
100%.
Yeah.
In the early, it is so important with this deck to perfectly curve out in the first 3 turns. So you have to do whatever you can to spend every single resource the first 3 turns.
Yeah.
It's so important to perfectly curve out in the first 3 turns. After that, you can draw shit, have no cards in your hand, doesn't matter. You have to curve out well the first 3 turns. That's what matters. So absolutely, Raider gets resourced. I resource it or I pitch it. One of the
Makes
two.
sense.
With
I guess ability. You have an extra way to just like get rid of cards you don't need. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So in the future, going forward, I'm taking out Chaos of War and I'm putting in, at least for now, I'm putting in Planetary Bombardment because I just find that in the control matchup, the hard control matchup, where I would bring in the Chaos of War in addition to the Raider, it's just better as PB because PB is like a lot more guaranteed damage. They don't have the units on the board. Raider can even turn it on to be can turn it on to be 12 damage. So yeah, at the end of the day, I just found that PB probably would have been better in that slot.
Bombardment's really sweet. Bombardment's really sweet, especially if you're playing a deck that is already going to be dealing with their units. Like if you're playing control, like you're killing their sentinels because that's all they're really playing, and you're going to drop a planetary bombardment for 8, maybe 12 if you have a Raider out.
Yep. Just gonna take it to the dome.
Yeah,
exactly. So,
I like that.
Chaos can do a lot of damage, but because I don't want to play it until late, I'd rather it just be Chaos. Or I'm sorry, I'd rather it just be PB. But
makes sense.
Then from there, Fang Fighter in the sideboard that replaced Tri-Fighter. So whenever I went into a matchup where Tri-Fighter wasn't relevant, usually Fang Fighter was. So aggro matchups. People trying to put, lightsabers like General's Blades or whatever on their own stuff, Sabine or whatever, pilot leaders, whatever, right? Usually, Tri-Fighter didn't matter really in those matchups. What mattered was the Fang Fighter. So it was kind of a perfect swap, which was really nice, honestly. It was just really easy to think about. I didn't have to think that much about, what do I take out? It's just Tri-Fighter, Fang Fighter.
That's huge in a weekend freaking tournament, too, because the less you have to think about your sideboard, the more you can spend thinking about the games, and that's a big deal.
So I would probably go to 2 PBs and I put in a third shoot down. Shoot down put in a lot of work. Really love shoot down. I mean, it's just such a good card for what it does. The fact that you get damage to base off of it. I wish there was a ground version of that card. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's reminiscent of one of my favorite removal, like burn removals in Magic, which is Searing Blood. If any of you know that card.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
Searing
think.
Blood's cool.
Okay,
So,
I played the Hazaret the Fervent deck in Standard. Like that was my shit. I played red deck wins all the time.
Yeah, you were there
because I couldn't afford any other big hitters. I was like, I just gotta build the cheapest, fastest deck.
A handful of mountains. That's all you need, man.
Dude, it was the best.
Wins.
It was the best. So,
but Shootdown's great, and against aggro decks that are playing a lot of space stuff, I want to do that. I'm that guy, So you're trying to play your 2-drop in space. What if I just killed it and did 2 damage to your base for free?
That is really good.
For 2. It just and once again, that typically was a perfect side out for Force Choke because a lot of the space decks have almost no units on the ground. So,
but
I like a third one of those in the side. Inquisitor's Skill was one last kind of easy side out where in the matchups where I had a hard time sticking units because they have a lot of Sentinels and removal, I would take out Arm to the Teeth for Inquisitor's Skill.
Infiltrators?
Infiltrator's Skill.
I knew what you
meant.
What was I saying? Yeah. Inquisitor's Skill.
Inquisitor's Skill? Yeah.
That'll be a card eventually.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know why I say Inquisitor Skill. Yeah, whatever.
Starts with the same 2 letters.
Whatever, yeah. Infiltrator Skill. So, Infiltrator Skill, 1/1 for 1, and Sabo. There's nothing else really in the game that gives Sabo like that, other than, like, breaking in, But I just really liked how I could just take Arm to the Teeth out for it, and then when I was against a matchup where they just had a buttload of Sentinels, bunch of removal, whatever does stick, I can just put that on it, and I could just get around their Sentinels and still go to base. There were times where, like, even against Towson, for example, I would do that because they're removing all my units, so like I don't have enough to stick with Arm to the Teeth, and I actually saved a unit with Inquisitor Skill because they couldn't finish. Like they had like set it up to where they could kill it with Towson, and then I put Inquisitor Skill on it to buff its HP by 1.
One extra life to save it.
It's like troll, but it works.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of the gist of the deck, I guess. I guess the last thing is Tarkintown, and just talking about really quickly why I didn't take yellow. I've had that question a lot, and I don't think I could have done it with the yellow version. As there's some great cards in the yellow version. They get Aura Sing, they get Shin Hati, they get Surprise Strike. You get, like, if you want to, you can play Bamboozle. You get to play like Defender Phantom if you want to. You get to play No Good to Me Dead, Waylay, whatever, right? You get there's
a lot of good yellow
cards.
stuff. Yeah,
there's good yellow stuff. It exists for sure, but most of the time, I felt like the additions that I was getting with the yellow stuff. Well, first of all, losing Tarkintown sucks. I'm just going to say that right now. Losing Tarkintown's massive.
Yeah.
Tarkintown is an insanely powerful base. I think we all know that. So that's a massive. Tarkintown matters so much because, and people think, well, it's an aggro deck. It doesn't matter. First of all, Darren Ray Tarkintown is sick, right? I mean, come on. But the other thing that matters a lot is when you're an aggro deck, how are people getting rid of their units? They're attacking into them, right? Typically your opponent has better units than you do because the whole premise of an aggro deck is that you're sacrificing unit quality for speed.
Yeah.
Right? So your units are typically going to be lower quality than your opponents are. And when they attack, they're playing less units than you. And when they attack into your low quality units or with their high quality unit, Tarkintown lets your low quality unit trade up once, which is a really big deal for tempo when you're trying to beat them up. So Tarkintown matters a lot.
I feel like that's actually a really good point because I feel like a lot of people think of it in terms of like Cad Bane or Quinlan because it's like, oh, they get a ping, so they could just use Tarkintown for free. But that's a great point, having it in just an aggro deck because you're just allowing your small units to trade up. Yeah, that's huge. And not many other decks.
You don't have to attack into theirs.
Not many other decks use Tarkintown in that way. So that's really interesting.
Yep, they have to attack your units because they have to stop you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they can't just let you hit them. You know, so it just works really well in that regard. And yeah, I mean, there are a lot of good yellow cards, but most of the yellow cards felt more like slight upgrades to things that the deck kind of already has access to,
Yeah.
like like Aura being an upgrade to Partisan Insurgent, or like Shin being an upgrade to GI, or you know, Defender or Phantom being an upgrade to like Interceptor or whatever, right? Like Surprise Strike is really the main one that like I think is like really nice to have. But and like I guess Sneak Attack is kind of cool, but I'm not a huge fan of Sneak Attack in this deck because you already exhaust your hand so quickly. But yeah, the most of the yellow cards just feel like upgrades, but then the red cards that you lose, like Aggression, feel like you're losing, and Tarkintown feel like you're
Aggression,
losing
Tarkintown.
actual tech. They feel like you're losing something that like yellow can't replace.
Exactly.
And it's like the upgrade removal in Aggression, like I said, main board is so good. Because it's the fact that we get upgrade removal, but it doesn't only do that. It's like it's killing something with 4 damage and readying a 3-power unit is super good still.
Well, and it
So,
doesn't
like,
say non-leader upgrade, right? Or non-unique
kill
upgrade. Yeah.
anything.
So there's
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
upgrades. There's so many leader upgrades now.
Yeah.
Like that's massive. Yeah.
Yeah, so Aggression was super important. So I just can't see myself. I don't think I would have been able to have done it with the yellow version. Truly,
Double red is just cooler too. It's like that's the
cool. Yeah.
aggro mono red,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So
Yeah, and I think talking
Anyways.
about your sideboard, like
mhm.
it's interesting to think, like going into this tournament, what were some of the decks that you were considering as your worst matchups? What were some of the things that you were worried to see going into the event?
Okay, so traditionally, the worst matchup is Cad Tarkintown.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like ping Tarkintown with no counterplay is really hard for the deck. Because they just not only like Cat Tarkintown, you know, they get the early ping guaranteed, right? Because they're gonna play Underworld card. So they get the ping Tarkintown guaranteed, but whereas like Quinlan is not guaranteed, you can play a 1-drop.
Yeah.
So then they would get the ping Tarkintown guaranteed, but then they have the yellow like cheap tempo removal to back it up. And so like they get you early, but then they're really good at keeping that tempo.
Yeah.
And stopping you from rebuilding quickly and trying to like get back your footing, you know. So that's why Cad Tarkintown has always been the hardest matchup for the deck. It's easier when you have more high HP units, especially like losing your early, your early card. You play a 2-drop and it dies. That sucks. But if you're playing a lot of 2-drops, you can kind of spam them out quickly, and they have a lot of HP, like 4 HP, HK or Partisan, and then you have like, the strike ship in space and all that kind of stuff. They can eat up the pings, and they survive for like longer than they're supposed to. And once again, shuttle can shield stuff, and like it kind of helps out a little bit. I found that was one of the big things, was like pinging decks are really hard. Quinlan's a really tight matchup. It's a really hard matchup, but not like hard as in like I'm gonna lose every time, but hard as in like I have to play literally perfectly.
You have some ways to play around them. You have some answers, right?
I do. Yeah, I have to play perfectly. I won day 3. My first 2 rounds were against Quinlan Tarkintown, and I managed to beat both of them. So that was really satisfying. Insane. But it was so hard.
Not just any Quinlan Tarkintowns. Day 3 Quinlan Tarkintowns.
Yeah, yeah.
That's nuts.
I was worried for sure, like stepping up to the plate. But so ping decks, Towson I tested a good bit against, and when I was testing against it, I was testing against with the 1-drop version of the deck before I went more in space and went to 2 drops and stuff like that, more HP. and it was really bad.
Yeah.
It was really, really, really rough. It got a lot easier when I put more space units in the deck,
Space
and it got a lot
shreds these
easier
force
when I didn't
decks.
have it does, and it got a lot easier when I didn't have these X1s just coming in and dying instantly for free. Top decking into X1s when my opponent like has Talzin's ability ready to go. So, oh man,
Towson's essentially a ping deck, right? It's very
it's
similar
essentially a ping
in
deck.
the way
Yeah,
it
it's
plays.
very similar.
Yeah.
It's very similar. So, and it's annoying too because their ping is like just directed. They can put it wherever they want. So, yeah, ping decks were the biggest concern for me. I've found that most other things I can kind of just find some way to play around it. Going in space helped a lot, like I said, but uh, typically it's like ping Tarkintown, Towson style deck where you have all the really good cheap blue red control, like the red villain control, like or not control, the removal, right? Red villain has really good cheap removal, and then you back that up with the blue removal, like power and all that stuff, and just the like the Towson's assassins and Karases and all these like really annoying effects, the ping of Towson, it's a lot. Everything they do
Yeah.
is removal. So
Yeah.
that deck scared me a lot. I would say Towson and Cat Tarkentel were my two biggest worries.
Okay.
Towson got better when I changed the deck. I haven't played a lot against Cat Tarkentown because it just wasn't really that popular at the tournament. Um, and like it was the only deck that I can think of really that I didn't play against.
Wow.
If I like pull up I actually have my match up list here, and I can read it off real quick if you'd like me to.
Sure. Yeah.
Everything that I played against. So day one, I played against Towson Red Force, and then 2-1, Sabine ECL 1-2, Kylo2 Tarkintown. I actually played the mirror on day one,
That's
which is
ridiculous.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were
How many?
17 of us in that room.
17
17 of us.
out
Yeah,
of
out of like
2,000.
19.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 1958 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Played the mirror. Man, I felt bad because I kind of stomped that guy.
You just had the more time.
His
You
list
had
was
the
not very
hours.
optimized, to be honest with you. Like, and we talked about it a lot after the game. But Han2 Blue Force 2-0, Anakin Blue Force 2-1, Poe Yellow 30 2-0, Luke 4 Data Vault 1-2, and then Kira ECL 2-0. And then day two, it
So your
was
two
Sabine
losses were
ECL
Luke
2-1.
Data Vault and Sabine ECL day one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sabine ECL is typically a good matchup, but it sometimes it's a wash. Sometimes Sabine just is insane.
I mean,
Like,
if
that's just how
Sabine
it is.
gets the nuts, like I don't think any deck
Yeah.
can beat it.
Yeah, it's just how Sabine is. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Sabine is insane. So day two, Sabine ECL 2-1. That player was super good, and I really like that guy. I talked with him a good bit on Discord as well.
Shout out to
And he
that
was
guy.
super supportive. Yeah, he was a player from Germany.
Hell yeah.
And then Palpable and Colossus 0-2. Oh man, I don't want to talk about it.
That's a weird deck. That's a weird
it
deck.
was a wash. I mean, he had all three vigilance both games and all that kind of stuff.
That kills your Tri-Fighter.
It was rough. Yeah, it kills the Tri-Fighter, exactly. No, it was, it just goes like that sometimes. And honestly, man, 35 HP, it's a lot to chew through.
It's a lot, dude. It's miserable.
It is. So, Kylo 5 Red Force, not Tarkentown. Kylo 5 Red Force. This guy was actually really good.
Okay.
And it was 2-1 against him. Sabine ECL 2-0.
You got your revenge.
I got my revenge again. Like, yeah, I beat two of them.
Hell yeah.
Because the round one was also 2-1. And then Han2 Blue Force 2-0. Han2 Blue 30 2-1. So then at that point I was in. So I was 6-1 to go in. Only loss was Palp Colossus.
Nice.
And then my last match was Han2 Green Force, and I went 1-2 and lost there. So 6-8.
Interesting.
That was like a very close matchup. It could have gone either way. Han2 Green is definitely harder than Han2 Blue. Their units are just a lot better than Han2 Blue is. And then day three, it was two Quinlan Tarkintowns in a row, 2-1 and then 2-0. And then Kylo 5 Tarkintown, one of the Bothan guys. The earlier one that I beat 2-1 was also one of the Bothan guys. And then this one was too, and he beat me 0-2. I don't remember what happened game one. I think it was super, super close, but he managed to squeak it out. And then game two, he started with a Migs, and I just could not find an answer for it, and it just took over the game.
Yeah, Migs is nuts in that
That
deck. It's
was,
bullshit.
yeah. He
That deck
was,
is
he wound up
bullshit.
going, so we were playing for top 16 or top 32. Neither of us could make it at that point. I think it was Big O Notation, I think was his name. His name was Oliver, I think, from the UK. He was
Okay.
also really cool. But yeah, so that's what I played against. I pretty much played against the gauntlet. I played against basically every deck.
Except
Not
for
every
Cad
every deck,
Tarkintown.
but a lot.
That's
Yeah, but
shocking. Yeah.
I didn't play against Cad Tarkentown. So that is like, if there's anything that I would say was like lucky about my tournament experience, it was that I didn't play against Cat Tarkentown. That's the main thing. Like, other than that, my draws never felt insane, and honestly, this deck doesn't really have that much of a nuts. Like, it
Yeah.
just kind of draws the same cards every game, and then you just have to like work your way around what your opponent is doing.
That's what's the most interesting about it,
So
is you've built this in
yeah,
a way where it's like you're never gonna draw something that just auto wins, right? You're not gonna auto
yeah.
lose. You're gonna adjust to whatever your opponent's doing,
Mm.
and you find a way. That's what it seems like
Yeah,
to me. Like, this deck
pretty
finds a
much.
way.
Yep. Yep.
And I think that's
Um,
just hearing about your matchups. I mean, did you lose to a Towson?
no, I only
No.
played one Towson,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
it was round one, and I went 2-1.
So
Or I
really,
beat him
Sabine
2-1.
ECL, Luke Data Vault, Help Colossus, and
Mhm.
Kylo5
Kylo2
Tarkintown, like,
Tarkintown.
those are all very losable matches. I wouldn't say.
Yep.
Oh, and Hantu Green. Yeah,
Hunt
I
Green.
think those are great decks to lose to if you're going to lose to anything, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. There was someone in chat asking, as someone who sounds like you played 7,000 games since set one, how many games do we need to play well enough to start getting results? Honestly, man, that's such a hard question to answer, because I am a genuine believer that, like, with how long I've played Magic and playing the same archetypes that I played in Magic in this game, like, that to me transfers over a lot. So I do feel like there's a certain level of like inherent, I don't want to say skill, but like experience that I have. Mainly, I would say like my biggest strength is combat math. I'm really good at combat math, and that's one of the things that helps me win with an aggro deck, is
Yeah.
being good at combat math. I actually, my opponent in on day two, Kylo2 Tarkintown, um, I won to a misplay. Um, it was, we were 1-1. It was the third game. It was down to the wire, and I had asked to see my opponent's graveyard because they were going to flip next turn, and I looked through their graveyard silently, and I count up in my head, how much damage they're going to do and what's going on, all this stuff, right? And I realized that they had so I have a Reckless Gunslinger on the ground, and like something else that can attack, or maybe it's dead, I don't remember. I think it's just one Reckless on the ground, and I had like two space units, right? And I was going to attack with a space unit, and then next turn, all I needed to do was 3 damage. So I needed to attack my opponent for 3, and that would get me the game, but I needed that one action. And I had 12 damage on my base. And my opponent, no, it was 11 damage. I had 11 damage on my base, and my opponent, with their flip, had 13 damage with the snapshot reflexes. So they had me to
Down
one
to the
HP
wire.
left. Right, but here's the thing. I had a Reckless on the field, right? They had a Witch of the Mist on the field. And they, instead of going to my base, attacked the Reckless Gunslinger to kill it.
No.
And that one damage lost them the game.
No shot, dude.
And they were super upset when
Oh,
they
I
realized.
bet.
I told him after he did it. I'm like, bro, you misplayed. You should have gone. It was crazy.
Witch of the Mist for the
realized,
win is crazy.
It does suck though, because I actually did, like, I would have lost that match because I made a mistake in the first game. It
Yeah.
wasn't I made a mistake. Like, it was I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was something like he had like an Anakin and I had a reckless gunslinger on the field, and I should have like attacked into it because then I could have force choked it or something, or maybe I had done 2 damage to it already, and then I should have attacked because I had Tarkintown still. I should have attacked with the reckless gunslinger into it and then Tarkintowned it instead of going 2 to base with the reckless. I thought I needed the damage, but I misplayed because I forgot to turn him off of the force, and the following turn he had a force lightning off the rip to kill a battle furied space unit, and that won him the game.
The amount of times that was such a hard thing to get used to in this early set 5 meta, because like having a force unit out, not only does it allow you to potentially get the force to do things, but you need your force unit for force throw and force lightning to be good. And the amount of times I struggled with that as well. Like the amount of times you miscalculate because those cards weren't as relevant before this set.
They really weren't.
And the amount of times it's like, oh, I should have just wiped out his force unit, and then he wouldn't have been able to use force lightning next turn. Like, what was I thinking? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I struggled with that as well.
And you feel super dumb when you do it too. You're like, wow, what was that even?
I made a couple of those mistakes.
Of course he has it. Why did I not? Yeah. But yeah, to answer that question though, honestly, this is the worst answer, but it really depends on the person. And I think it's really up to how much you put into it. And when I say that, I'm really more so talking about not just spamming games, but truly understanding A, how you learn, and B, like what to focus on and learn. Like you need to know how to learn and what to learn to learn. You can't just play and get better. I mean, you will get better if you just play, 100%. You'll get better if you just play, but the amount of time it's going to take is going to take so much longer. And that's why you look at people who are like in esports who are super good at video games, right? They're playing, like I think there was a conversation just about this the other day where it's like let's say you have like an FPS player, right? And they're like top of the game FPS player, and they go over to League of Legends. How long does it take them to get to Diamond? Not that long, right? And the reason is not because they're just a god at video games. It's because they know how to learn and what to learn.
Yes, 100%.
They know what to focus on. So it's way more important to like learn how to learn than it is to just spam games.
It's massive.
It'll help you out in the long run. Yeah.
Spamming
I know that's
games.
Kind of a shitty answer because it's like it's very open ended, but.
No, I agree. I think
learning, right? Learning is open ended, so.
I think your combat math example is perfect, because if you're playing games and you feel like you're struggling to count up your damage or figure out how much damage your opponent has to do lethal, if you're struggling with that, maybe you need to practice those scenarios, practice calculating faster, right? Maybe your problem is your actual math calculations, right?
Yeah.
And I think people who are already good at that math can get better at those scenarios faster. And people might not even think of that. They're like, oh, I'm just playing a card game. I'm just going to jam reps. But it's like the little things that add up in these games is huge. And I think it also ties back to, like what you were saying, you've been playing Kylo 5 since it came out.
2, you mean?
That's your deck. Yeah. Kylo 2.
Yeah.
Yes, since it came out. And that's, the matchups. You know what your deck needs to do like the back of your hand. And getting to that point so you can put more mental energy into the actual calculations of the game.
Into the game,
is huge. And that's where a lot of the skill comes from, I think. Is you have your reps down, you know what your deck needs to do, and you can make those in-game quick calculations.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and I love what Chris said, practice doesn't make perfect, but perfect practice makes perfect.
Yep, pretty much. For sure.
And that's why even the esports example too is like some of these guys, they're like, oh, I play like, 3 hours a day, and it's like they're the best player in the world. And it's like, bro, I'm grinding 12 hours a day and I can't even compete.
Yep, it's because you're just grinding solo queue and not learning anything. Yeah.
Intentional practice.
And the thing is, it's, at the end of the day, these strategy games, man, they're a game of mistakes. It's not about you like it on the lower end of the spectrum. It might look like it's about you making good plays, but the reality is once you get to the highest level, you're all so good that it's about making the least mistakes. And usually the amount of mistakes that loses you the game is one. So it sucks, but that's just how it is. And you look at the way I like to think of it is like imagine you have like a health bar, with like how well you're going to do over the course of the day. And like you can kind of basically think about a certain portion of that health bar being guaranteed HP loss from, bad matchup, bad card variants, whatever, right? It's going to happen. It's a card game. You are going to lose matches because of that. Guaranteed, right? Like there is a portion of it that is a crapshoot. Like you are playing a card game. As much as we can do to affect the variance in this game, it's still a card game. So there's a portion of that HP bar that is you are going to lose this much HP from card and matchup variance, right? But then your mistakes add on to that HP bar. So when you make one mistake, that one mistake could be enough to put you over the edge to where you don't get there. You see what I'm saying?
I like that.
The matchup variance and the card variance is always there, but it puts you like that. Those small mistakes put you over the edge. So when you make a mistake and then that causes you to lose a matchup that you had no business losing, now you can't afford to lose the matchups that you're supposed to lose.
Yes.
And that's a problem. So
yes.
it comes down to not making mistakes. 100%.
I love that like thought process on this too. And it is a game of minimizing mistakes. It's a game of minimizing your bad matchups as well, like in the deck building side of things. Like you're going just like you're going to you're going to have games where you have terrible variance, and you're going to have games where you're just in a bad matchup, and it's about minimizing those things to the point where you're not actually losing that much health from mistakes. You're not losing that much health from deck variance.
I'll say this. One thing that I think a lot of people get wrong is how to minimize that loss.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say is I feel like I do a terrible job of this. I play a new deck, like I'm coming off of Boba ECL, right? And I'm feeling high as a kite just off my PQ win. And then he gets banned. And I'm like, man, I felt like I had good matchups into most things and I had everything mitigated, right? And so trying to find a new deck after that, I just kept bouncing around. And it's like, oh, I lost to this, so I don't want to play that deck anymore. Oh, I lost to this, I'm going to switch decks. Don't do that.
The way to think of it,
be like JR.
Right? Well, unfortunately, so the decks that are meta have a decent matchup into everything, or not everything, but like a huge majority of things, right? They have their stack of cards is just really good, right? So it's one of those things where like meta decks, tier 0 meta decks are like the ones where they have positive matchups into everything. If you're playing a deck that feels like it has a positive matchup into every other deck, that's tier 0. The game is not in a healthy state, right? That's what that means. Most of the time, those decks aren't a thing. And you won't, even if you beat up, like, nobody's on Petronaki all day, that's not, really what it's going to look like at the top tables of a big tournament, right? And the thing is, when it comes to minimizing that, like, those losses is, first of all, you have to recognize what kind of deck you're playing. So when you're playing a meta deck, you have to recognize that, like, most meta decks are really decent into most things, and it comes down to like the player skill and the mistakes and everything. But they also don't usually have a big way to outplay their opponent. It's usually they're kind of doing the same thing. Their opponent knows they know you know what your opponent's list is if you're playing a meta deck. Everyone knows what's in a Han 2 blue deck, right? Like, wow, he might have one card different. He has a Forces with Me, like Whippy, right? But like other than that, you know what's in their deck, right? So it's really hard to outplay someone when you know exactly what their deck is doing. And not only that, you've practiced against it a million times, right? I've played so many practice games in the Han 2 Blue. How many times do you think Han 2 Blue players have practiced specifically against Kylo2 Tarkintown? So when I say, even if it's some, right? Even if it's some, at the end of the day, the reason a rogue deck does well into a meta deck is because the meta deck is common. Everyone practices against the popular deck. You're not going to practice against the unpopular decks, right? Or I mean, maybe you do a little bit, but not to the same extent. You don't prepare for them, right?
Yeah.
So if everyone is prepared for the popular decks, you have the rogue players and the meta players. Like the rogue players are. That's why rogue decks tend to sometimes beat meta decks, is because the rogue decks have practiced a million times against meta decks.
They have the advantage off the rip just by being unknown.
Yep. Yeah. And where rogue decks lose is against other rogue decks. Because against other rogue decks, they're not prepared for that stuff. And because their pile of cards is not quite as inherently strong, they lose out more. So you see what I'm saying? So
cards, man.
The point is, though, the point is with rogue decks, though, right? With rogue decks, it's super important to recognize that you are a rogue deck. And what I mean is, you are not going to have a decent matchup into everything. The best thing you can do as a rogue deck player is pick a pile of cards. Like if you're trying to prepare for a meta, pick a pile of cards, even if it's for the same leader, right? Like I'm playing Kylo2 Tarkintown. I pick a pile of cards for that deck that is good into the meta and then loses or does poorly into things that are not popular. So if I think, well, no one's playing Cat Tarkintown right now because everyone doesn't want to play it, no one wants to play it into Hero Blue, right? Well, then all of a sudden, like it's a lot easier to play the list that I'm playing because I can build it to fight all these other things. I don't have to worry about Cat Tarkintown anymore. And oh no, I see Cat Tarkintown. I lost once. How many times am I going to see Cat Tarkintown if it's a tiny percent of the meta, right? Like if you build a rogue deck that loses to Han 2 Blue, that's a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Because that's 30% of the room. You know? So pick a deck that can fight against that, and if it loses to Cat Tarkintown, why are you upset? If Cat Tarkintown is 2% of the room, who cares? You're going to see it one time. And I think the big thing that people can't get over, to be honest with you, is like the thought in their head that, oh, I could see it multiple times in a row and just completely wash out. I can't have like a super bad matchup. That's just how tournaments go sometimes.
That's me.
I've played so many competitive strategy games. I grew up playing chess. Tournaments go that way. Sometimes you just scrub out. It's just how it goes. You just scrub out sometimes. It sucks, but you have to get over that if you want to get good. You genuinely have to get over it because sometimes you go into the tournament and you just see Cad Tarkintown you see it 4 times and there are 20 of those dudes in the room and you're like, how is this possible?
I love your perspective on this, and I think that's something that I need to learn. I was talking with Jackson the other day, and I was like, this next year, like, I need to channel JR. If I'm going to compete at these high-level events, I need to take on that mindset because I get so caught up in, like, I will not have a bad matchup. I refuse. I'm going to build something that does not have any bad matchups. But in a healthy meta, that's not the reality.
Yeah.
Like in a healthy meta, there are going to be tons of bad matchups, and you have to be able to navigate through that. You have to have your deck. You have to just pick that deck and be able to navigate those bad matchups. I think that's more important than just trying to not have any bad matchups. And I think it goes into the same thing we're talking about with intentional practice. And if you have a bad matchup, you can't just, you know, why are you going to be mad if you lose that in that game? You've prepared and you've had intentional practice into these other things that you're going to play against. And your one loss was to your bad matchup. Oh, well.
There's another thing I'll say too, is like, it's good to practice into your really, really hard matchups, because let's say you're playing, I'm just holding a random screwdriver, but let's say you're playing, you know, just fidget, you know, whatever. Let's say you're playing against, I'm an aggro player, bro. I can't sit still.
Dude, I got this little fucking rubber thing from my laptop that I'm playing with that was on my desk. I feel it.
So, but no, oh man, I lost my train of thought.
Practice your bad matchups.
Yeah, that's right. So, man, I can't tell you like how many times I've played against Ethan. And like Ethan tends to play decks that really, really ruin me, you know. Cad Blue was such a nightmare for me back in set 3, but I spent literally like 5 hours, and we just sat there and played game over game just for fun, you know. I probably won twice.
He's a great person like to rep into like that, though.
But the thing is like you know, you have to like be okay with just losing over and over again.
Yes.
Because like, honestly, it's like, if you can make a really bad matchup kind of work, like if you can make it close, then you know it's going to be like, you're going to be able to win in other matchups, you know?
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously it depends on the type of deck you're building and what you're playing against. It's a little harder to do that with mid-range, because mid-range, you really need to have a grasp on the meta, and you have to be prepared for a lot of things. Mid-range is a really hard one to build into an open meta, because mid-range is hard to build into an open meta just because it's so meta dependent, the way that it's built. You know, like you want to build like more aggressive, you want to build it more defensive, what kind of removal do you want to put in the deck? It's all based on the meta. A control deck, a hard control deck, you're going to play similar removal every time. Like, you'll have some things that change, but mid-range is extremely meta dependent, and so that is a benefit of playing an aggro deck, I guess, is that, you know, if you're truly focused on being an aggro deck, you know, to build your deck as streamlined as possible, as efficient as possible in game 1, because your opponent's not always going to really have the answers they need in game 1, and so you just do the best that you can to be super streamlined and kill them game 1, and then you have 2 chances at winning another one. You know,
yes,
is really what it comes down to.
Yep.
You need to win game 1. Like, it's so important.
Yeah, no, that's I like what you said about just you need to lose a bunch to be able to. I mean, I think that's the only way you learn. I think if you're crushing people on Petronaki and you're winning every game, you need to find a way to lose. Because you're not going to learn from the games you win. You're going to be like, oh, I'm amazing. Yeah. I'm the best deck builder in the world. I'm winning all these games. Yeah. I truly think that if you're winning too much, that's a problem. I think you need to figure out how to lose and what decks make you lose, right? Play somebody that you're going to lose over and over to. Don't try to lose. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you need to find how your deck loses, and you need to learn from it. If you, for your example, playing into Cad Blue, Ethan's Cad Blue, if you lose for 5 hours straight, and you learn from those games, you're probably going to be very good into other Cad Blues.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
That's like, you probably made that matchup at least 50-50.
Ethan's played against me a million jillion times, so he knows what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah, that's huge. That's so important to realize, is when we're playing our buddies like that and we're losing a bunch. It's like, man, if I'm losing a bunch to this guy who's played me a bunch, and I'm learning from these losses, and he's telling me exactly what I should do or what I need to do to beat him, I'm probably going to do really freaking well against the other Cad Blues or whatever it is, right? Even if it's a bad matchup.
It helps a lot.
Yeah.
100%. And I think, you know, honestly, speaking of, this is kind of to get a little bit off topic when it comes to my deck in particular.
Sure.
But I think when it comes to practicing, one of the big things that I think this game really needs that it doesn't have, and I don't think it's going to get, is an online client like MTGO, not Arena specifically.
Yes.
MTGO, and the reason is, like I said earlier, I'm a legacy player in Magic, and MTGO is one of the main ways that people can play Legacy. And I don't play that much anymore, but I really liked MTGO. Not like the client sucked. I mean, the interface was terrible on MTGO.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what MTGO allowed people to do was compete for money online in this card game. So like you could go online and play in not just a league, but also like a tournament where it'd be like 8 rounds or whatever. I don't remember exactly what it was called. It wasn't a league, it was something else. But you play a tournament basically where it's like a bunch of people, they're all good. And it's like an 8-round tournament. You can play it on your own time because you queue in for a match basically. And actually, I don't know if that one was on your own time. I don't remember exactly how it worked, but basically, I'm trying to say you can play a tournament online, and you literally win tickets, which transfer into money. So it's like, not only do obviously I think there should be cash prizes involved in this game, and I don't think it's going to happen because it's a Disney thing, probably. But having an online client like that, where you have literally money incentivizing players to practice competitively online.
Yes.
That's awesome. Because there's no incentive to practice competitively on Petronaki Arena or Karabast. It's just a casual client, you play the game.
You play some random people, you don't know how good this person is.
When you're playing for $100 online, you're going to try hard.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? You're trying to win $100 for free for sitting at your computer practicing, right?
Yep.
And then you get to play against all the other tryhards in the world who are trying to do the same thing over and over and over again and make a bunch of money.
That's for sure what we need.
I really would like to see that in this game. I don't think it's going to happen because, I think it's a Disney problem.
At a minimum,
what they could do.
At a minimum, there should be some sort of ranked, right?
That's what I was going to say. It'd be really nice if there was a rank ladder, and then they actually awarded the rank ladder people with some prizes or in real life or something like that. If they did that, that'd be great. That's the same thing, right? Now they have to. I think they have to do. They have to be careful not to limit it based on time. And what I mean is like you get people who have no life who could just sit there all day and grind these events and get points, right? So you have to base it on tournament performance, But if they could find some way to have tournament performance, get people stuff, and have some kind of online client, even if it's crude, I'd really like to see that because I think it would help the player base as a whole grow and become more competitive. And
100%.
Because I like playing into a strong room. It's fun.
100%. And you can't always get that just queuing into random people. And
yep.
I think that's another thing is like if you're winning all the time with Petronaki, well, what if you're winning against like the worst people, right? What if you're not playing anybody who's actually like your level, right? That's why you're winning all the time. You're not playing anybody your level. But if you were playing people your level, you might lose a lot more. And you get a rude awakening when you go to a big thing.
That could even be seen as like disrespectful, but like you could think about it this way. When you play chess online, if you're a 1500, are you just going to sit there and farm 800s all day?
Dude,
no.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
It's a waste of time.
Yes.
Like, that's a waste of time. Why are you doing that? Like
Chess.com.
Neither of you were really growing from that.
Chess.com would be useless if you just queued into randoms.
That would suck.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Yeah, there's got to be something that allows you to practice, general public practice better. Get better, more quality games. Because that's what it comes down to.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, was there anything else in Galactics, any other games that you think stood out to you? I feel like we talked about a lot of the games that stood out. I don't know, man. Did we miss any games that you thought were either great wins or maybe key losses that you thought about a lot?
Um,
We talked about a lot of games, so it's all right if you don't have anything else about it.
yeah, I'm just thinking. I think I mostly touched on everything. Um, yeah, I think I mostly touched on everything. I mean, the tournament pretty much kind of went how I expected it to in terms of like how I played into certain matchups, and then I just happened to be on my game that day, and I performed well into matchups that were tight.
Yeah, you killed it, man.
Sometimes it's hard to quantify, like sometimes how good your deck is and how much it is like your opponent not knowing how to play against it or making mistakes.
Sure.
Which was
Yeah,
a big part of Kylo2 Tarkintown too, right? Which
it
is like
was.
that the surprise of that deck, threw a lot of people off. It was different. People didn't know how to play into it, and so that affected it a lot. Kylo2, it's been around for a while, so people are aware of what I'm doing. Maybe not exactly what I'm doing. They don't know the exact contents of my list until it's open deck list, which did actually make me very concerned. Going into day two, I was like, wow, that sucks because I really need people to not know what I'm playing.
Yeah.
And then it didn't matter because I, you know, just won out anyways. But I was a little worried about open deck lists for that reason. But no, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have any other big thoughts on the tournament. Like in terms of the way it was run, I'll keep it that short. I know some people had complaints about it. The main event was awesome. I think the
Yes.
only thing they could have improved upon with the main event is maybe instead of just doing like random deck lists, pick out interesting deck lists more, and maybe like try to
For like the
find
main
one of
stage,
each. One,
or
yeah, like try to find like one of each deck or something like that and put it on there, just so people can like watch cool stuff. Also, for the main stage, they should have had. There was like a standing area on the side where you could watch a screen of what's going on in the matches. It should not have been a standing area. There should have just been some. It could have been folding chairs,
that
but
would
they
have been
should have put
dope.
some chairs there so that people could at least sit down. Especially during top eight and watch the
Yes.
game. The fact that there was a place to watch it, but no, you couldn't sit down. You had to stand
Well,
there.
they also never
So,
had the streams up. That they only did that
oh, did they really not?
like throughout the main event. I don't know about top eight because I
Yeah.
know like we left to go watch it at the Airbnb. But during the matches, they didn't have it up, and I imagined it was because they didn't want people like calling out shit to the stage.
Yeah.
But the stream was on a delay. I honestly don't remember. I don't know if I was paying attention to the screens or not.
Yeah.
You're talking about those big screens on the right and left of the stage?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought they had the matches on there. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought they had them on there. If they didn't, that's even dumber.
Yeah.
But
They didn't utilize them
yeah,
regardless. They didn't utilize them enough.
yeah.
I agree.
But other than the main event, like the main event was run really well. The side events, obviously, there were complaints about that. But to be completely honest with you, I would rather them have gotten the main event done well. I would rather them had like do the main event well and mess up the side events
For
because they can
sure.
improve on the way that they did the side events. I know there's a lot of casual players that wanted to enjoy it, um, but at the same time, the main event is the reason the tournament exists,
Yeah.
and I think that's super important. So that the main event generates the hype. You walk in, you see the stage, you feel the pressure. It's awesome. But I will say though, I thought it was really cool. Um, all of the side like things that they had going on for people to do was really cool. That seemed like there were like people who would actually just showed up to just have a good time and they didn't even play in the main event at all. And from a couple of people I heard, like all the little things to do on the side like were actually really cool. And that I'm glad that they had like stations where people could like enjoy themselves and try different things and whatever and have fun even though they weren't even playing the game.
I saw a
I
ton of
really loved
tables
the yeah.
of Star Wars D&D going on.
Yeah, and then there was like Lego and too stuff, like that was awesome.
Oh, and the Star Wars mini game. There was a miniatures game going on too.
Yep,
There was all
Yeah,
kinds of
exactly.
shit. Yeah, it was so
There was
cool.
a lot of stuff. Yeah, and then the giant TIE fighter and X-wing, those were just so hype.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, those were all awesome. The vendors should not have closed so early because, as someone who played in the tournament the whole time, they were closed every single time I tried to go over there. The only reason I was ever able to go up to a vendor was because I finished my match in 15, 20 minutes and then I had extra time. But,
yeah,
I shouldn't be just getting that privilege because I'm an aggro player. It should be like, yo, like they should stay open just a little bit later for the people who are finishing the main tournament and want to buy something or do whatever. Because I
hundred
actually would have
percent.
liked to get some merch while I was there. I couldn't even buy merch because I was playing full time.
The
I didn't
only
get a chance
reason
to
I
go
was able to
look.
do any of that was because I didn't play Friday and I didn't play Sunday.
Yep.
Saturday, I wasn't able to do anything besides play in the tournament. So it's like I kind of got, I don't know, lucky, I guess, for having those experiences outside of that. But if I was competing the whole time, like you didn't have much of that like fan experience there, getting to see the vendors, buying the merch. Like, yeah, that sucks.
So other than that, though, it was great. I mean, yeah, the pricing wasn't perfect, but I thought it was run well enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For their first one, it was awesome. For the
Yeah.
first one, it was great. I mean, hands down. For their first Worlds, it was a blast. I can't wait to go back.
I agree. I'm for sure going to the next one at this point. Like, yeah, it was so sick. The Venetian was amazing. It was just a vibe, man. It was cool. It was so much fun. And it was sick, like, getting to meet you and getting to meet all the other idea guys. Like, that was so sick. Getting to meet, like, I talked about it in my last stream, or like the stream I talked about Galactics, getting to meet, like, the different viewers that I have just coming up to me and recognizing me, like, that shit is, that shit was so fucking sick. So just the environment and, all those Star Wars fans coming together to play this game was so much fun. And you kicked ass, bro. It was fun watching you, cheering you on.
Thanks.
Like, you were the chosen one of Idea Squad.
You guys definitely, I definitely appreciated the support. It was nice having you guys behind me.
Hell yeah.
For me. So it meant a lot for sure. And all the practice that I've gotten, with you guys definitely helped a lot too. So, yeah.
There's much more practice to be had, my friend. We're going to grind for more to come.
I don't know, like, I've kind of been thinking, at least for this set, though, I'm probably going to be chilling, like, I don't know if I'm going to play a whole lot this set just because I feel like I've already kind of done my work for this set and I'm just, I don't know. I didn't technically get my buy, because top 32 didn't get any points. It was only top 16, which was really stupid, by the way.
That is stupid.
Yeah, but whole rant aside, I want to chill for a little bit. I played 19 rounds of competitive set 5, so I'm
most
good, I mean?
competitive SWU ever.
Yeah. So I'm probably chilling for a little bit, but
that's so
I am
fair.
looking forward to seeing where the game goes, and I'm excited for set 6 too. I mean, it looks like there might be some interesting mechanics so far. So
I'm obsessed with Andor, so I'm excited to see some like spy shit, and it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Hey, thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking this time to hop on stream, and we definitely, I'm down to do something like this again sometime. When you win your next PQ, we'll talk.
For sure.
In set 6, you'll win your first PQ in Dallas, and
sure.
But yeah, anytime you want to hop on and while I'm streaming and play some games, like, let me know.
Sounds good.
But yeah, definitely get some games in. I know you're taking a break for set 5, but whenever you're ready to hop back in,
I'll dabble here and there. I'm not gonna completely not play, but
sure, yeah, you gotta keep your Kylo going. Thanks, Chris, appreciate you. But yeah, this was cool, man, and there will be much more content like this to come, and this is awesome, and I think it seems like the stream was liking it, and yeah, man, it's been great talking with you. I really appreciate you hopping on.
Once again, thanks for having me, and thanks everyone for listening. I kind of ramble a little bit sometimes, but
it's necessary. We got to hear it.
Yeah.
We got to hear it from you. We got to hear you talk about everything that you think about, right? So
Yeah,
don't
I guess
don't
so.
yeah, don't worry about
No.
the rambling. It's an important part of this. I welcome
Yeah,
it.
for sure. All right, well, it was good chatting. So
Hell
I
yeah.
guess I'll go ahead and drop in the call, and you can, do your thing with your stream.
Sure. Take it easy,
Uh,
man.
yeah,
Talk to you
cool.
later.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Okay. Let me put my camera back on. There we go. We're back. Wow. What a great conversation with a probably one of the best minds in Star Wars Unlimited. I'm going to say it. 31st at Galactics. He has his aggro game locked in, guys. I really appreciate everybody coming and joining. Chris, thank you. Kylo gang for life. I hope you guys were able to learn from him, his methods. I'm sure as hell trying to learn from him. I think he has a great perspective on the game, and I really need to. I'm channeling him this year. I need to figure out. I need to lock into something. Obviously, I'll play some fun shit on stream. I will be streaming Saturday, but I'm probably getting back on my CAD. I miss CAD. So I'm going to sort of lock in for Saturday, do some different things with CAD, some different ideas I've had, but I'm itching to get back in the game because I know I said to you guys I'm taking a break and I'm going to play Riftbound and all this stuff, which I am going to do, but I'm also going to the Boston Invitational in November. You heard it here first, guys. I was invited again, and I'm going. As long as everything goes, according to plan, I'm going. I got my tickets, my event tickets, and yeah, I'm ready to prep for it. I mean, I know it's going to be set 6, but start prepping in set 5. You know what I'm saying? Lol, I was legit wondering about CAD Green for you. Yes, there are some CAD Green thoughts, but I was talking about it a little bit today with some guys on Discord, and Tarkintown is just really difficult to get away from. We'll talk about this Saturday, though, for sure. Talk about green versus red in CAD, but I am going to sort of try to get back to specializing in CAD. Maybe I'll play some more Obi-Wan. I was digging Obi-Wan before Galactics. But yeah, we're going to have some fun on stream Saturday. So make sure you tune in. And, oh, I forgot to talk about why no MIGs. TLDR, it dies into all the crafties and stuff. Yes. Super fair. I should have, as the host, I should have had the wherewithal to understand that MIGs is a typical card to have in this list. Dude, that's so fair. I think it's cool that you didn't run MIGs. Honestly. But yeah, let's freaking... Yeah, JR was great on the stream. And make sure you give him some love in the chat. But yeah, guys, that's all I had for today. A little bit of a shorter stream today. I figured we would talk, get the conversation... Focus on the conversation, and Saturday we'll play some games. All right. So if you haven't seen in the community tab, I am streaming Saturday at noon, and we're gonna keep the streams going. We're gonna keep it consistent. I'm also working on a video of my stream talking about Galactics. I'm shortening it down. I'm adding the pictures from Galactics that I'm excited to share with you guys, and it's gonna be a much more edited video of it. Quick, like 30-minute deal instead of the hour and 20-minute stream. You can watch that 30-minute deal that I'm putting together. So keep an eye out for that this week, or like Sunday maybe. I don't know. You better make this stream into a video too. Yes, I plan to. I think honestly, I don't think this stream needs much editing, so I can shorten it where I will. I can think about shortening it, but I kind of like the way this ran. it felt fluid and natural. But I'll definitely look into it, and I'll for sure make something out of it. I'll make some clips or whatever, right? We'll get some good content out of this, all right? Don't you worry. But yeah, appreciate you guys, and keep an eye out for the new content coming out. Keep an eye out for that stream on Saturday, and appreciate you guys joining. I'll see you all in the next one, all right? Peace.